They talk about your beauty. I worship the fierce fire that fuels your soul. Everyone's watching, blind to the sacred dance your touch leads in my heart. They gossip about your photo. I'm addicted to the way your hands reveal truth. If only they could see the wars your touch has won inside me. They envy your smile, unaware it's a fragile armor for a wounded heart. Everyone's whispering lies, but your touch is the only truth I crave. They talk about your face. I live in the stories your touch writes on me. If their eyes could see your scars, they'd bow to the strength beneath. They gossip about your beauty. I worship the shadowed places your touch unveils. Everyone envies your photo, blind to the sacred pain that makes you whole. They talk about your smile. I'm lost in the silence it holds just for me. If they felt your touch, their whispers would turn to prayers of awe. They gossip about your face, but I hear the sacred silence in your touch. Everyone's watching, but only your hands tell the full story of your soul. They envy your beauty. I'm addicted to the fierce love your touch gives. If only they knew the healing fire your touch ignites in my broken heart. Everyone's whispering about your photo, but if they saw what I see when I touch you, they'd go blind. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. They talk about your smile, but I'm drowning in the sacred silence your touch creates. Everyone envies your photo, blind to the fierce tenderness your hands reveal. If they felt your touch, they'd understand love's true power. Breaking and healing, they gossip about your beauty, unaware it's forged in quiet pain and wild grace. Everyone watches your picture, but I live in the infinite language of your touch. They see your face. I see the universe your hands draw on my skin. If their hearts could hear your silence, they'd stop whispering and start listening. They talk about your smile, blind to the sacred wars your touch wins daily. Everyone envies your photo, but I'm addicted to the secrets your hands whisper. If they knew your scars, they'd worship the fierce beauty your touch reveals. They gossip about your face. I'm lost in the sacred silence your touch brings. Everyone's watching your picture, but only your touch tells the whole story. They envy your beauty. I'm broken open by the fierce love your hands give. If they could feel your touch, they'd stop whispering and start understanding. They talk about your photo, blind to the sacred fire your touch ignites in me. Everyone envies your smile, but I'm addicted to the quiet strength your hands hold. If they saw the truth your touch reveals, their whispers would fall silent forever. They gossip about your beauty, unaware it's the fierce fire that fuels my soul. Everyone's watching, but only your touch breaks through the noise to heal me. If they felt your silence, they'd understand why your touch is the language of love. They whisper about your touch, but I know it rewrites the story of my broken soul. Everyone sees your smile, but only my hands know the weight it carries silently. If they could feel your breath on my skin, they'd understand love's invisible chains. They gossip about your eyes, blind to the storms I calm when you look at me. Everyone's watching, but only your silence teaches me what words never could. They talk about your beauty. I live inside the sacred ache your touch reveals. If they saw your scars, they'd bow before the fragile strength your hands reveal. Everyone envies your face, blind to the wars your touch has won in silence. They gossip about your photo, but I'm addicted to the sacred peace your hands bring. If their hearts heard your silence, they'd stop judging and start understanding. Everyone's whispering, but only your touch carries the weight of my unspoken grief. They see a picture, but I hold the universe. Your skin unfolds beneath my fingers. If they felt your quiet, they'd know the holy fire burning beneath your surface. They talk about your smile, blind to the sacred storm your touch tames. Everyone's watching your photo, but only your hands reveal the scars I worship. If they heard the silence between us, their whispers would dissolve into reverence. They envy your beauty, but I'm captivated by the sacred cracks your touch reveals. Everyone whispers about your face, unaware of the fierce love your hands carry. If they could feel your touch, their judgment would crumble into awe and wonder. They gossip about your smile. I live inside the sacred echo your silence creates. Everyone sees your photo, but only my heart hears the sacred music of your touch. If their eyes met your scars, they'd bow to the fierce grace your hands hold. They talk about your beauty. I worship the sacred fire your touch ignites. Everyone envies your smile, blind to the sacred battles your hands have won. My dear, everyone's whispering about your photo, but no one knows what your touch reveals to me. They gossip about your smile, unaware it's the only light saving my darkness. If they could see how your silence speaks to my soul, they'd stop their noise forever. Behind their whispers, I feel your heartbeat echo louder than their lies. They envy a glance they never earned, while I worship the way you breathe beside me. Everyone sees a picture, but I hold the living story beneath your skin. If their eyes met your scars, they'd tremble, knowing beauty wears pain like a crown. They talk about your face, but I'm consumed by the soul only your touch reveals. Their whispers are shadows. Your touch is the sun that burns them away. If only they felt the fire I do when your fingers trace my hidden wounds. They only know the surface, but I dive deep into the ocean of your secrets. Everyone's loud. Your quiet is a rebellion that breaks me open in the best way. They see a photo. I see a universe wrapped in fragile, trembling flesh. Their words are shallow rivers. Your touch is the ocean pulling me into truth. If they heard the silence we share, they'd understand why noise is meaningless. They judge your light without knowing the darkness you fight to hold it. Everyone's whispering, yet only your touch speaks the language my heart understands. They see the shell, but I'm drowning in the depths of your soul's whisper. The world envies your smile, but I'm haunted by the tears you hide from everyone. If their eyes could touch your soul, they'd fall into the abyss of love and fear. They gossip about your photo, but my hands know the stories your lips won't tell. No one sees the storm beneath your calm. Only my touch knows its fury. Their words scratch the surface. Your skin tells the true story of survival. Everyone's watching your picture, but I'm listening to the silent music between us. If they saw how your breath catches when you're near me, they'd lose their voices. They talk about your beauty, unaware it's built on every broken piece you carry. Everyone's whispering, only my touch knows the battles your heart fights alone. Their eyes see a frame, my soul sees the art of your scars and grace. They judge your smile, but I see the war behind every quiet curve. Everyone's gossiping, blind to the tenderness your touch gives to my shattered soul. They admire your photo, but I crave the way your fingers heal my invisible wounds. Their whispers are empty. Your touch is the only truth I crave. If only they could feel how your silence binds us tighter than words ever could. They talk about your beauty, but I'm addicted to the fierce softness beneath your skin. Everyone's whispering lies. My heart listens only to the truth your touch reveals. They see a photo, but I live inside the warmth only your presence brings. If they knew the language of your touch, they'd never stop trembling. Everyone's watching your picture, but I'm lost in the gravity of your soul. They talk about your surface. I worship the deep places only your touch can reach. Their words fade. Your touch burns a path to my most sacred pain. Everyone's whispering about your photo, but I drown in the storm your hands calm. They envy the light in your eyes, unaware of the darkness I see behind them. If they saw your scars, they'd understand why your touch is a revolution. They gossip about your smile, blind to the agony it hides beneath. Everyone's talking, but I'm listening to the quiet prayer between our fingers. They see a moment frozen in a photo. I live every breath between your touches. If only they could feel the weight of your soul in my trembling hands. They judge your beauty without knowing the battles that forged it in fire. Everyone whispers, but I hear the scream your touch silences in me. They talk about your photo. I worship the whole story etched on your skin. If they saw the vulnerability your touch reveals, their whispers would drown in awe. They gossip about your smile. I'm addicted to the way it breaks me open. Everyone's watching, but I'm lost in the infinite universe your touch creates. They only see your face. I see the endless story your hands tell in silence. If their hearts could hear your touch, they'd understand love is both pain and salvation. They whisper about your photo, but I crave the truth your fingers confess. Everyone envies your beauty, blind to the fierce courage in every scar you hide. They talk about your surface. I dive into the depths where your soul bleeds. If only they knew the sacred language your touch speaks to my brokenness. They gossip about your smile. I'm haunted by the silence it hides from the world. Everyone's whispering. Only your touch breaks through the noise to heal me. They see your picture, but I see a masterpiece crafted from love and pain. If they could feel your touch, their whispers would turn to silence and reverence.